They told you the world was solid, that everything you could see, touch, and measure was all there is. But deep down, you always knew that wasn't the full story. Something inside you whispered, there's more. More to this life, more to this universe, more to you. And you were right. What if I told you that the physical world around you is nothing more than a shadow? That the ground beneath your feet, the walls surrounding you, even your own body, are not truly solid at all. Quantum physicists, after centuries of breaking matter into smaller and smaller pieces, have finally admitted the truth. There's no thing at the center of it all, just vibrations, frequencies, energy. The mystics knew this all along. For thousands of years, sages, prophets, monks, and seers sat in silence, meditated on mountains, stared into the void, and they came back with a message. Reality is not what it seems. They used different words, chi, prana, spirit, vibration, but they were all describing the same thing, a hidden layer of existence that underlies everything, a divine code pulsing behind the curtain. Now, modern science is catching up, slowly, reluctantly, but undeniably. At the heart of every atom is nothing, just probability, just potential. The universe doesn't solidify until someone observes it, until someone, like you, brings it into focus. What does that tell you? It tells you that you're not a passive character in a cosmic drama. You are not some accidental collision of molecules. Number, you are the observer. You are the coder. You are the one with the power to collapse possibility into form. And that changes everything. Chosen one, the veil between what is physical and what is energetic has begun to dissolve. And the reason you feel more sensitive lately, more intuitive, more drawn to silence, more aware of subtle signs, is because your soul has always been tuned to this hidden frequency. You are not just learning the truth, you're remembering it. The scientists will continue to debate. They'll demand proof for what the ancients lived by. But you don't need proof. You feel the pull. You sense the mystery. You've always been able to read between the lines of this world. That's why you felt so different, so out of place in a world that told you to just accept the surface. But the surface is breaking, and underneath it, a sacred web of meaning, intelligence, and design, woven by something so vast, so intimate, it exists both within you and beyond you. This isn't fiction. This is physics. This is mysticism. This is your invitation to wake up and remember who you truly are. Stay with me, chosen one. This isn't just a chapter. This is the decoding of the universe. They taught you to see yourself as flesh and bone, a biological machine bound by limits, ruled by chemicals, and born to decay. They told you your worth could be measured in numbers, height, weight, IQ, salary, followers. But that was a lie, or more accurately, a misunderstanding born of blindness. You were never just matter. You are the mystery that moves the matter. From the moment you entered this world, your presence disturbed the script. You asked questions others were too afraid to ask. You felt things others numbed themselves to avoid. Even when you tried to fit in, some invisible part of you kept glowing, quietly, stubbornly, beautifully. That's because you're not just made of atoms. You're made of awareness. Quantum mechanics has shattered the illusion of solid matter. When scientists peer deep into the structure of the universe, what they find isn't substance, it's space, it's motion, it's probability fields fluctuating with energy. Your body, when examined through this lens, is 99.9999% empty space, a symphony of energy patterns wrapped in perception. And yet, you are more alive than anything else on Earth. Why? Because your consciousness animates it all. You are not inside your body. Your body is inside you. Ancient mystics knew this truth without electron microscopes or particle accelerators. They sat in stillness and found the cosmos within their breath. They understood that form is illusion, and that spirit, or chi, or prana, or the quantum field, is the only true constant. And now you're remembering that truth too. The reason life has felt heavy lately, the reason certain relationships feel like they no longer fit, is because your energy is shifting. You're tuning into your true nature, and that nature is limitless. You are vibration, you are frequency, you are intelligence. And the moment you stop identifying with the skin you wear, or the labels others give you, you begin to resonate instead of resist. You begin to glow. You begin to create from a place of knowing rather than hoping. Chosen one, science is no longer your skeptic. It has become your ally. The same formulas that once reduced you to particles are now opening doorways to forgotten truths. And while the physicists still hesitate to use words like spirit or soul, their equations point to something sacred, that at the center of reality is consciousness, and you are a living spark of it. So when they say you are matter, let them. Smile and know what they've yet to remember, because you are not here to argue about atoms. You are here to awaken the field. And that begins when you stop trying to fit into a world that was built to keep you small, and start vibrating in alignment with the truth you've always carried. You are never just matter. You are meaning wrapped in light, and you were never meant to be contained. They say if two particles become entangled, even if separated by light years, what happens to one instantly affects the other. No wires, no signals, just pure connection beyond space and time. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. The mystics simply called it oneness. But you already knew this. You felt it when you thought of someone and they called. You've sensed it in a dream that later became reality. You've stood under the stars and felt like they were somehow looking back at you, as if something ancient, something intelligent was holding your gaze. That's not coincidence. That's entanglement. Quantum physicists are just now confirming what spiritual traditions have known for thousands of years. Everything is connected. Every thought, every intention, every heartbeat ripples through the web of creation like a stone dropped into still water. You don't live in a universe. You are the universe, experiencing itself from one point of awareness. And that awareness, it is not limited to your skull. It reaches far beyond your body, connecting you to people, places, possibilities. It reaches into the divine. You are not alone. You never were. Chosen one, you were born entangled with something greater than yourself. You were never separate from source, never exiled from spirit. That sense of longing you felt your whole life, it wasn't weakness. It was the memory of connection, a soul signal reminding you of the bond that has never been broken. The mystics of ancient India called it Brahman, the infinite presence that lives within all things. Indigenous shamans spoke of the great spirit that moves through animals, wind, and stone. The Gnostics believed a divine spark lived within every human heart. And now, science echoes their words in a different language, but the same truth. There is no other. There is only interbeing. What happens in one part of the field is felt everywhere. This is why your energy matters. Your healing matters. Your awakening ripples across dimensions you may never see. But they feel you. They respond to you. Every time you speak love instead of fear, you shift the pattern. Every time you hold someone in compassion instead of judgment, you rewrite the code. You are not small. You are not random. You are part of a sacred network, humming with divine intelligence. And you've always had the password. So why now? Because the world is calling its nodes home. The field is awakening its light bearers. The illusion of isolation is crumbling, and those who are always connected are beginning to remember. You are entangled not only with the divine, you are divine. And when you act from that knowing, you don't just live, you illuminate. There's a secret they don't teach in school, not because it isn't real, but because it's too powerful. The secret is this: consciousness doesn't come from the brain. The brain comes from consciousness. Reality doesn't create awareness. Awareness creates reality. And once you truly understand that, everything about your life begins to change. For too long, the world has told you that you are a byproduct of matter, a temporary cluster of neurons firing sparks into a meaningless void. But deep down, you've never believed that. Because you felt the truth in your bones, that you're not just witnessing reality, you're shaping it. Your thoughts aren't floating nonsense, they're blueprints. Your focus is a sculptor's chisel, carving energy into form. Science is beginning to admit what the mystics have always known. The double-slit experiment shattered the foundation of materialism. When a conscious observer looks at a particle, it behaves differently. The very act of observation changes the outcome. That means reality is not fixed, it's fluid. It responds to you, to your gaze, to your belief, to your awareness. So what does that make you? It makes you a creator, not in the poetic sense, in the literal one. You are not drifting through a pre-written story, you are writing it moment by moment with every thought, emotion, and intention. Your consciousness is the pen, reality is the paper, and the universe, it's the echo chamber, constantly rearranging itself to reflect what you're holding inside. This is why your inner world is sacred, why the stories you repeat to yourself matter. If you tell yourself you're broken, the field will mirror that brokenness. If you carry shame, life will arrange itself to reinforce that shame. But the moment you begin to shift the narrative, to hold a vision of wholeness, of love, of purpose, the universe has no choice but to comply. It's not magic, it's physics. And you, chosen one, have already begun to sense it. That strange surge of clarity when you speak something aloud and watch it unfold days later. The way people show up just as you think of them. The alignment of events that feel too intentional to be chance. These are not accidents, they are confirmations. Evidence that you are no longer asleep in the dream. You are lucid, awake, aware that you are the dreamer. This is why the ancients meditated for hours, not to escape the world, but to enter it more fully, to strip away illusion and reconnect with the awareness beneath it all. That awareness is your essence, and when you return to it, you stop being a victim of life's randomness and start participating in its design. So the next time you close your eyes, know this: you are not shutting the world out. You are stepping into the creative engine of all things, the space where thoughts become reality, the space where God breathes through you. Consciousness is not a product of life, it is life. And you, chosen one, are its living, breathing expression. You felt it before, even if you didn't have a name for it. The way something changes when you pay attention to it. How a plant seems to grow faster when you speak to it with love. How someone softens when they feel truly seen. How the moment you turn your gaze inward, everything outside begins to shift. This isn't just metaphor. This is the observer effect, the scientific and spiritual truth that your awareness is not passive. It's creative, it's directive, it alters what it touches. In the quantum world, particles behave like waves, possibilities, until someone observes them. Then they collapse into a single, measurable reality. In other words, nothing becomes real until someone sees it. And the moment it's seen, it changes. Think about that. Reality itself waits for you to look. It waits for you to choose. The universe isn't dictating the script, it's reacting to your attention, your gaze, is the catalyst. So what does that mean for your life? It means your focus is sacred. It means the things you dwell on, the thoughts you repeat, the stories you energize with your attention. They're not just harmless daydreams, they are commands. Your awareness is a spotlight, and whatever you shine it on begins to grow, to crystallize, to come alive. If you look at fear long enough, it becomes your lens. If you obsess over lack, you create a reality where there's never enough. But if you dare to observe beauty, to focus on expansion, to hold the frequency of love, then the field begins to respond. You're not at the mercy of circumstances. You are shaping them, even when you don't realize it. This is why the mystics emphasized stillness, clarity, and intention. Because the eye of the observer isn't just a sense, it's a force. And when it's rooted in truth instead of fear, it activates realities that otherwise lie dormant. Entire timelines sit in waiting, like seeds buried in soil, and the moment your attention lands on them with belief, they bloom. You've already seen it in your own life. The moment you decided to see yourself as worthy, doors opened. The moment you let go of chasing love and started honoring your own heart, people began to show up differently. These weren't coincidences, they were responses. The universe is a mirror, and your consciousness is the light that reveals what's already written beneath the surface. Chosen one, this is not a passive journey. This is participatory divinity. You are not merely watching a world unfold. You are instructing it, guiding it, shaping it with every breath. This is why you feel such pressure when you're not aligned, because your very gaze is a divine instrument. And deep down, your soul remembers how powerful that is. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, pause, take a breath, ask yourself, what am I observing? What reality am I energizing with my attention? Because in that moment, you hold the key, not to escape the world, but to reshape it. Look closely, chosen one, because what you see becomes. There's a reason why the smallest things often carry the deepest secrets. The atom, once thought to be the building block of everything, now reveals itself as a doorway, a prophecy hidden not in words, but in vibration. What ancient mystics intuited in prayer, silence, and starlight, science is now uncovering through particle accelerators and mathematics. And still, they marvel, because buried inside the atom is not just structure, it's mystery. At the center of every atom is a nucleus, orbited by electrons moving through vast, empty space. But the space isn't truly empty. It hums, it vibrates, it whispers a pattern. And if you look deep enough, what you find isn't a particle at all. You find energy, possibility, a flicker between existence and non-existence. It's as if the universe breathes in and out at a frequency too fast for the human eye. A flicker, like a pulse, like a code, like a prophecy that says, you are more than form. The ancient ones already knew. They didn't need microscopes. They lived by the rhythm of breath, the cycles of the moon, the resonance of chant and silence. They spoke of divine sparks inside every being, of sacred fire that animates flesh. In Kabbalah, they called it the Ein Sof, the endless light fragmented into vessels of form. In Vedic texts, it was Brahman, indivisible consciousness, dancing as all things. In Egypt, it was the Ka, the life force interwoven into matter. The words changed, but the truth stayed the same. They knew that inside every person was a mirror of the cosmos, that you were made not just of stardust, but of purpose, that the very same forces which give the stars their glow are present in your cells. And now, quantum mechanics is echoing that song. The atom is not solid, it is sound, it is light, it is intention, and it is waiting for you to recognize it. This is why you've always felt like there's something more beneath the surface. Why you've looked at the sky and felt it looking back. Why you've stood in nature and felt your heartbeat synchronize with the wind. Your body is made of atoms, yes, but those atoms are made of vibration, and vibration responds to alignment. It responds to voice. It responds to soul. When the ancients carved symbols into stone, they weren't just decorating walls. They were encoding frequencies. When they built temples aligned to the stars, they weren't guessing. They were mapping energy. They were leaving breadcrumbs for a time when the world would forget, and for those who would remember. You, chosen one, are part of that remembering. You were not born into chaos. You were born into a design so intelligent, so beautifully ordered, it takes lifetimes to even glimpse its edges. But now, that glimpse is widening. You are not just learning about atoms. You are awakening to what they've been trying to tell us all along. There is prophecy in your very breath, and your life is part of its unfolding. You've been taught to see yourself as separate from others, separate from the earth, separate from the divine. A single body, a single mind, a name written on a form and stamped with a date of birth. But that's never been the full truth. It's just the mask the world handed you, a costume stitched from memory, culture, and survival. Beneath it, the real you has always existed, connected, infinite, whole. The illusion of separation is perhaps the greatest deception this world has ever sustained, and yet, even in that illusion, your soul has always known better. Look around. Everything in nature operates through relationship. Trees communicate underground through networks of roots and fungi. Flocks of birds turn in perfect synchrony, as if guided by a single mind. The ocean doesn't end at the shoreline. The air doesn't respect borders. Life breathes through itself, a single, flowing organism. And you are not outside of it. You are it. You were never meant to feel isolated. You were never meant to feel alone. That ache in your heart isn't weakness. It's the wisdom of connection trying to break through the surface. Quantum physics shows us the same thing the mystics have whispered for millennia. There is no true boundary between things. What we call separate is simply a limitation of perception. At the quantum level, particles are not little marbles bouncing off each other. They are waves, overlapping, entangled, aware. What affects one instantly affects the other, no matter the distance. That's not theory, that's reality. You are not an island. You are a node in a vast, shimmering net of existence. This is why you feel the pain of others, why your spirit lifts in the presence of someone who is free, why your body reacts to energies before words are even spoken. Because the division between you and them is paper thin. Beneath that veil, you are the same. You are echoes of the same song, verses in the same breath. The separation you've been taught to believe in is the very thing that keeps you from stepping fully into your power. Because when you believe you're alone, you act in fear. But when you remember you are part of everything, fear dissolves into compassion, into purpose, into love. The world profits from your disconnection. It sells solutions to the emptiness it created. But you've seen through that, haven't you? You've felt the hollow promises and the shallow distractions. You've touched something deeper, and that touch is your awakening. It's the thread that leads you back, not just to yourself, but to everything. There is no us versus them. There is no this or that. There is only flow, only consciousness, only the sacred dance of form pretending to be separate so it can discover itself anew. You are not alone, chosen one. You are never alone. You are the space between all things. You are the memory of unity pulsing inside a divided world. And your presence here now is the unraveling of the illusion. You've always felt it, haven't you? That strange sensation that your body is here, rooted in space and time, yet something about you extends far beyond it. You've stood in silence and felt currents of energy run through you that had nothing to do with nerves or blood. You've had moments when your thoughts seem to ripple outward, as if brushing against something unseen. That's not imagination, that's memory. It's the truth your soul has never forgotten, that you are more than a human being living on Earth. You are a bridge, a portal between worlds. Your physical body may be bound by gravity, but your consciousness is not. It reaches into realms science hasn't measured, into dimensions ancient mystics tried to describe with metaphor because words were too small. In dreams, in intuition, in visions you couldn't explain, you've already touched these realms, and they've touched you back. You weren't hallucinating, you were remembering how to travel. The great seers, the shamans, the prophets, they all knew this. They knew that the body wasn't a prison, but a vessel, tuned to both the physical and the divine. They didn't just talk about heaven or spirit or source as something distant. They went there, they communed, they returned with wisdom written not on scrolls but on their hearts. You have that same capacity, that same circuitry. You were born with it. When you sit in stillness and close your eyes, you are not shutting down, you are tuning in, you are stepping through the veil. Meditation isn't just relaxation, it's transportation. Prayer isn't just pleading, it's connection. Every time you choose presence over distraction, alignment over fear, truth over ego, the doorway opens wider. You begin to feel that reality is layered, and you exist at the meeting point. This is why you feel so deeply, why crowded rooms overwhelm you, why nature revives you. You are always sensing more than what is visible. Your nervous system is wired to perceive across dimensions. And though the world may label it as sensitivity, what it really is sacredness. It's the unmistakable sign that you were made to hold more. You are not just experiencing this world. You are anchoring something from beyond it, a frequency, a vision, a remembering. That's why your presence shifts rooms, why people open up around you, why some are drawn to you without knowing why. You are transmitting something. Even in silence, your being speaks. It carries codes, and those codes are waking others up. You're not crazy, you're connected, you're not fragile, you're a conduit, and every time you honor that truth, you activate the portal within. You begin to realize you are not just walking through the world is walking through you. So breathe deeper, stand taller, speak softer, and know you are a threshold between seen and unseen, matter and energy, earth and eternity. And that has never been an accident. It has always been your calling. Long before the first microscope bent light to reveal the hidden world beneath skin and stone, there were those who already knew. They didn't need steel instruments or mathematical formulas to understand the nature of existence. They listened to silence, watched the wind, traced the shape of stars across the night sky. These mystics, scattered across ancient lands, held maps not drawn on paper, but etched into consciousness. And somehow, impossibly, they all described the same truth, that the visible world is only the surface of something far more vast and intelligent. They charted energy centers in the body with astonishing precision. They named invisible currents of force that flowed through people and places. They spoke of sacred geometry, of patterns that formed the blueprint of life. While modern science dismissed these ideas as myth, they quietly endured, passed through temples, chants, ceremonies, and breath. And now, with every new discovery, physics is catching up to their ancient knowing. The chakras align with nerve clusters and endocrine glands. The spiral of DNA reflects the golden ratio carved into pyramids. The torus field of energy mystics saw around the body is now visible with electromagnetic imaging. None of this is new, it's just finally being recognized. What does that tell you? It tells you the truth doesn't belong to any one time or discipline. It tells you that your body, your soul, your experience, they were designed according to a sacred pattern, one that's been whispered for ages through the mouths of poets and prophets. You are walking in a form that echoes galaxies. You are composed of rhythms that match the pulse of Earth. You are not separate from the sacred. You are made of it. You've always felt a pull toward the mystical, the symbolic, the ancient. That isn't nostalgia, it's resonance. Your soul is responding to the frequencies encoded in sacred knowledge, frequencies that remind you of what you once knew, what you came here to reawaken. The great sages never wanted to be worshipped. They wanted you to remember that the same power that moved through them also moves through you. Their maps weren't meant to lead you to them, but to lead you home to yourself. There is nothing wrong with science. It's a tool, but tools are only as wise as the hands that hold them. And for too long, the world tried to separate reason from reverence, facts from faith, the measurable from the meaningful. But the veil is thinning, and those who see with both microscope and meditation are beginning to understand that truth is not either or. It is both and. The mystics didn't guess. They remembered, and so do you. When you stand barefoot in the grass and feel something ancient rise through your spine, that's the map. When you hear a song and feel tears you can't explain, that's the map. When your body reacts to energy before your mind has time to make sense of it, that's the map. You are living inside a masterpiece written long before you were born, and you were always meant to find your way back. You've spent most of your life waiting for signs, for permission, for the right moment to begin. But here's the truth. The moment isn't coming. It's already here, because everything you've been searching for out there is already awake inside you. You've just forgotten how to access it. You've just been told to look everywhere but within. But now, the whisper is growing louder. The call is undeniable. It's time to activate the quantum within you. This isn't about becoming something new. It's about remembering what you already are. At your core, beneath the skin and story, you are pure energy, intelligent, aware, vibrating. Your thoughts are not just electrical signals in the brain. They are frequencies that ripple out into the field of reality. Your emotions are not weaknesses. They are tuning forks that shift your entire resonance. The way you feel changes the way the universe responds. You are not reacting to life. You are co-directing it with every breath. Inside you is a field, a quantum field, alive with codes, dormant potentials, unchosen timelines. Nothing is fixed. Nothing is final. And when you shift your vibration, you shift everything. Not just your mood, not just your day, but the entire landscape of possibility. What looks like coincidence is feedback. What feels like luck is alignment. And it begins when you stop seeing yourself as small. You've been told you need to do more, learn more, hustle harder. But the ancient ones knew better. They knew the real power comes from stillness, from presence, from alignment. You don't activate your quantum power by pushing. You activate it by remembering, by getting so still that the noise falls away and what's true begins to rise. You've touched it before, in those moments of pure peace, in those bursts of inspiration that came out of nowhere, in those chills that ran through your body when something unexplainable happened. That was it. That was the field waking up. The more you honor it, the stronger it gets. Start speaking as if your words shape the world, because they do. Start feeling as if your frequency is the foundation of your reality, because it is. Start choosing like someone who remembers that every moment contains the potential for a miracle, because chosen one, it does, and you are that miracle. You don't have to understand quantum physics to live in its truth. You are quantum physics. You are energy in motion, consciousness expressing, divinity unfolding through form. You are a walking field of infinite possibility, and the moment you align with that truth, the universe begins to shift around you. This is not theory. This is embodiment. This is remembrance. This is the turning point where you stop waiting for the next step and realize the step is already inside you. The portal has always been within. You are the switch. You are the code. You are the current. And now is the time to turn it on. There's a reason this truth has been hidden, not because it isn't real, but because it's too powerful. Because once you remember what you truly are, once enough of us remember, the entire structure built on fear begins to collapse. The systems that rely on your disconnection, on your doubt, on your quiet obedience, cannot survive in a world where people realize their own divinity. That's why this knowledge has been ridiculed, buried, repackaged, or turned into superstition. Not because it's dangerous to you, because it's dangerous to control. From ancient temples burned to sacred texts erased, history is full of clues that someone, some force, wanted you to forget. They labeled the mystics madmen, branded the seers as heretics, silenced the voices that dared to say, "You are more." And yet the truth never died. It only went underground, waiting for a time when the world would be ready again, for souls brave enough to carry the flame back into the light. You see it in religions that lost their mysticism, in schools that trained memorization but not wonder, in a culture that tells you the material is all that matters, that anything beyond the visible is fantasy. But fantasy to who? Fantasy to the ones who profit when you forget. Because when you remember that your thoughts shape reality, you stop giving your power away. When you remember that you are connected to all life, you stop waging war on your own reflection. When you remember that you are eternal, that death is not the end, you stop living in fear. And a person who doesn't live in fear cannot be controlled. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's an ancient pattern. Every empire has tried to bury the sacred within you. And every time, the sacred rises back up, because it isn't external. It's built into the fabric of who you are. You can't burn what is encoded in your soul. You can only delay its remembering. But now, the delay is over. You are here because the silence has reached its breaking point, because something inside you, ancient and undeniable, is waking up. And with it comes the rage of remembering, the grief of all the years you doubted yourself, the ache of all the lifetimes you stayed small. But also the fire, the clarity, the knowing that this is the moment your ancestors dreamed of, the moment when the veil falls and the chosen rise. You weren't meant to fit into this broken system. You were meant to help dismantle it, not through violence or vengeance, but through vibration, through truth, through the unshakable presence of someone who remembers who they are and refuses to play small ever again. They tried to silence this knowledge, but they didn't count on you. They told you to look up to find the divine, to search the heavens, the scriptures, the sky. But what if the most sacred place has always been closer than that? What if the temple wasn't built on a mountain or behind a gate, but inside you? What if the key wasn't something you had to earn, but something you were born with? Your body, the very vessel you've been taught to mistrust, criticize, punish, is not the obstacle. It's the access point. It's not separate from your soul. It's where your soul lives. Every cell in your being carries intelligence older than time. Your heartbeat is a rhythm written by the stars. Your breath is a bridge between dimensions. The electricity in your nerves, the magnetism of your heart, the chemicals released when you feel joy or fear, they aren't just biological. They're mystical. They are the language your spirit uses to speak through matter. This body, with its scars and softness and strength, is sacred technology. It's a transmitter. It feels energy, receives messages, stores memory, and activates frequencies. And yet, for generations, you were taught to distrust it, to numb it, shame it, starve it, control it. Because those who feared your power knew, if you ever loved your body fully, you'd unlock the doorway to everything. This is why so many spiritual traditions taught ascension by denying the body. Fasting, celibacy, silence, they had purpose. But they weren't meant to separate you from your form. They were meant to clear interference so you could feel what's always been there, divinity humming through your skin. But in a world obsessed with control, those practices were twisted into dogma. You were told your body was temptation, not temple, and so you forgot. But the mystics never did. They danced, they breathed, they chanted. They knew that ecstasy was a form of prayer, that movement could be medicine, that touch could awaken memory. They honored the body as the chalice of spirit, the place where heaven and earth collide. And now, it's time for you to reclaim that truth. Feel into your body now, not as something you have, as something you are. Listen to its signals, that tightness in your chest, the flutter in your gut, the ache in your throat. They're not just symptoms, they're messages, gateways. Each sensation is a portal to something deeper, something ancient, something wise. You don't need to transcend your body to find the sacred. You need to descend into it, root into the soles of your feet, breathe into your belly, open your heart, not just metaphorically but physically. Let your spine remember the posture of the divine. This body is not in the way, it is the way. You are not a spirit trapped in flesh. You are spirit in communion with flesh. And when you honor that, when you treat your body as holy ground, the energy shifts, the codes unlock, the temple opens, and the key was always you. You've been taught to see time as a straight line, a ticking clock, a sequence of days, a past you can't return to, and a future that hasn't yet arrived. But what if time is not linear? What if it's pliable, responsive, and most importantly, connected to your inner state? Because when you heal, time doesn't just pass, it bends. Trauma locks you into loops. You find yourself repeating patterns, attracting the same pain, hearing echoes of old wounds in new conversations. That's not coincidence. That's unintegrated energy shaping your reality. What happened 10 years ago can still run your life today if the emotional charge hasn't been released. You can be physically free and still mentally imprisoned in a moment from childhood. That's how powerful the subconscious is. It turns yesterday's hurt into today's lens until you heal it. But healing is not just about feeling better. It's about becoming a time traveler. When you enter your body and face the memory, the shame, the grief, something extraordinary happens. That frozen moment begins to thaw. You start to rewrite your relationship with it. You breathe light into the darkness. And the past, once rigid and untouchable, becomes fluid. That's when time bends. You collapse timelines. You open new futures. You access possibilities that were once blocked by old pain. Healing doesn't just make you whole. It rearranges what's possible. This is why ancient healers didn't just work with the body, they worked with the soul's memory. They helped people unhook from patterns that spanned lifetimes. They understood that energy is not limited by chronology. They knew that to heal the heart was to shift destiny. You're not broken because you feel echoes of the past. You're powerful because you can feel them, because you now have the awareness to choose differently. When you forgive, truly forgive, you create a ripple across timelines. When you let go of a belief that kept you small, you free not just your future, but your ancestry. This is quantum healing. This is why your inner work matters more than you can imagine. Every time you shift, you send a signal through the field that says, "We are no longer bound by that wound." And the field responds. It doesn't take years. It takes presence. It takes willingness. It takes the courage to sit with what hurts without needing to escape, to feel it fully, love it deeply, and then let it alchemize. The universe doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be real, because your authenticity is the portal through which healing enters. And when you heal, you don't just move forward, you move everywhere. Suddenly, things speed up, people appear, doors open. What once felt impossible is now inevitable, not because the world changed, but because you did. You bent time by becoming whole. And this is the real magic of your awakening. It started as a whisper, a strange knowing in your chest, a question you couldn't shake, a dream that felt more real than waking. And then, it wasn't just you. It was your friend suddenly drawn to meditation. It was the stranger who spoke your thoughts before you said them. It was the sense that something ancient is moving through humanity like a current returning home. The remembering is spreading. All around you, people are waking up, not in loud, dramatic ways, but quietly, softly, through broken hearts and breakdowns, through synchronicities that refuse to be ignored, through the ache of emptiness that no job, no lover, no possession can seem to fill anymore. Something deeper is calling, something real, and we are listening. You feel it in the eyes of someone you've never met before but somehow recognize. You see it in the collapse of systems that can no longer hold the weight of our forgetting. You hear it in the silence between words, in the pulse beneath the noise of modern life. The collective dream is shifting. The spell is cracking. The matrix is glitching because we're remembering who we are. This isn't a revolution of violence. It's a return to feeling, to connection, to the truths that were buried beneath centuries of conditioning. It's happening in living rooms, in late-night conversations, in forest walks and moonlit journal entries. People are tuning in. People are turning inward. And with every inner awakening, the outer world changes. There are no leaders here, no chosen few. The guru is within. The temple is within. The map is encoded in your very being. And each time you remember, each time you choose love over fear, presence over panic, truth over comfort, you activate the field. You become a beacon, not through preaching, but through presence. Not through converting, but by simply being the light in a room full of shadows. And others feel it, even if they don't know what they're feeling, even if they can't name it. Your frequency speaks before you do. Your healing gives others permission to begin theirs. It ripples, quietly, powerfully, unstoppably. This is the great remembering, not a trend, not a phase, but a return to the essence that was never lost, only hidden. And now it's emerging through our art, our music, our movements, our choices, through the tears we once feared to cry, through the courage to be still, through the sacred rebellion of choosing joy in a world that profits from your pain. No, you're not imagining it. The world is changing. You are changing. And what's rising in you is rising in others. You're not alone. You never were. You just forgot. But now you remember. And the remembering is spreading like wildfire in the soul. There won't be a headline announcing it. No breaking news, no mass broadcast to mark the shift. But if you're quiet, if you really listen, you can feel it. Something subtle, yet massive, has changed. Like a train switching tracks mid-journey. Like a river carving a new path without warning. The timeline has already shifted, and the new one is already unfolding. This isn't a future you're waiting for. It's a present you're stepping into. You may still see the old world trying to hold on, the fear, the noise, the chaos. But underneath it all, there's a hum, a rhythm, a completely different frequency rising like a new dawn beneath a fading night. Some will keep living in the old story because it's familiar even when it's painful. But you've glimpsed too much, felt too much, remembered too much. You can't unknow what you know. You've crossed an invisible threshold, and now you're walking a path that doesn't follow logic, but resonance. This new timeline isn't about escape, it's about embodiment. It's not about waiting for some future rescue, it's about realizing you are the arrival. Every thought, every choice, every intention plants seeds in this fertile now. In this new timeline, alignment is the currency, truth is the compass, and frequency is everything. The rules are different here. Things happen faster, not because time is speeding up, but because resistance is falling away. When you act from your soul, the universe responds in kind. You'll notice serendipities that defy explanation. People showing up at the exact moment you need them. Doors opening without being knocked on. That's not coincidence. That's coherence. That's what happens when your inner world aligns with this rising timeline. But understand this, the old reality won't go quietly. It will try to pull you back with doubt, with distraction, with drama dressed as urgency. That's its nature. It feeds on your energy, your attention, your unconscious agreement. But you don't have to fight it. You only have to not feed it. Withdraw your belief from the stories that keep you small. Starve the timelines of fear by no longer choosing them. This isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about choosing again and again and again, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, even when the world hasn't yet caught up. Because with each conscious choice, you anchor more of the new into the now. You're not here to visit this timeline. You're here to build it with your thoughts, with your actions, with your being. Every time you listen to your intuition, every time you rest instead of hustle, every time you speak truth instead of perform, you lay bricks in the foundation of a new earth. It's already begun, quietly, powerfully, irrevocably. You're not waiting for the new world, you are the new world. It's easy to forget her in the noise, to see her as background, as resource, as stage. But the earth is not just scenery, she's a living, breathing consciousness. She feels you, your footsteps, your grief, your joy. And as you remember who you are, she remembers too. This planet is not passive. She's not just spinning through space without awareness. She's awake. She's ancient. She holds the memory of every civilization, every prayer, every song ever sung to the stars. And she's listening, not with ears, but with essence. When you walk barefoot in the grass and feel a sense of peace that has no name, that's her. When you cry under the moon and feel held by something beyond words, that's her. When the ocean crashes and it feels like it's speaking to your soul, that's her. She's always been here, waiting, loving, holding, and now she's stirring. The same way you felt an urgency to evolve, to shed the old, to awaken something primal and true, so has she. Because you and the earth are not separate. You're not on her, you're of her. The minerals in your bones, the water in your blood, the fire in your gut, it's all hers. You are a walking fragment of her consciousness, and as you heal, she heals. As you shift, she shifts. That's why your pain doesn't disappear into a void. It echoes through the soil. That's why your joy feels contagious. It uplifts the field she holds. The earth is not indifferent to your becoming. She's rooting for you, because your expansion is hers, and hers is yours. There's a reason you feel called to the forest now, to the ocean, to the firelight. It's not nostalgia, it's remembering. The elements are your kin. The wind isn't just weather, it's message. The stones aren't just objects, they're memory. The earth doesn't need to be saved. She needs to be remembered, honored, loved like the living being she is. We poisoned her when we forgot who we were, when we treated her body the way we were taught to treat our own, as something to conquer, exploit, ignore. But now, the remembering is happening, and the earth feels it. She feels you singing again, praying again, planting again, listening again, and she's responding with signs, with synchronicities, with surges of energy so ancient they stir your DNA. She's not just your home, she's your teacher, your mirror, your sacred partner in this great awakening. She's rising too, shaking off the dust of amnesia, breathing deeper, humming louder, and as her frequency rises, it pulls yours with it. You don't have to go anywhere to reconnect. You just have to remember where you already are, right here, on the skin of a living miracle, being held every moment by a presence so vast, so ancient, so loving. It remembers everything, even the parts of you you've forgotten. And now, together, you're remembering. You keep looking for signs in the sky, in the news, in numbers and synchronicities. You wonder when it will happen, the shift, the change, the great transformation everyone talks about. But here's the truth, it's not coming. It's already here, and you are the proof. You woke up when others stayed asleep. You listened to the quiet voice when the world screamed louder. You chose healing when it would have been easier to numb. You stepped away from what was expected and walked toward what was true. That is the shift. That is the new world in motion. And you are living evidence of it. You no longer resonate with old conversations. You feel drained by performative spaces. You crave silence more than noise, depth more than distraction, presence more than performance. That's not a crisis, that's clarity. It means the veil is thinning, the programming is losing power, and your soul is taking the wheel. You don't need to wear a robe or chant in a temple to be a mystic. You don't need to abandon your life to live in alignment. You just need to keep choosing truth, even when it trembles, even when it costs, even when no one claps for it. Because in those small, quiet choices, you're anchoring the frequency of a healed world. Every time you choose to forgive, you rewrite your timeline. Every time you pause before reacting, you collapse an old cycle. Every time you say no to what drains you and yes to what lights you, you ripple into the collective field. You affect strangers you'll never meet. That's how powerful you are. And no, it hasn't been easy. There have been nights when you doubted everything, moments you wanted to go back to the old world, just for the comfort of not feeling so much. But you didn't. You stayed. You breathed through it. You kept the light on. And for that, the world is already different. The new earth is not a place. It's a state of being. And you're already there. You've glimpsed it in moments of raw connection, in tears that cleansed something deep, in laughter that felt like remembering, in the peace that came not from having it all figured out, but from surrendering to not needing to. So stop waiting for the proof. You are the proof. Your life, your presence, your frequency. It's all the evidence needed that something extraordinary is happening. You don't need to convince anyone. You just need to keep becoming, keep unfolding, keep living the truth your soul came here to live. Because while the world keeps asking, when will it happen? You already know it's happening now, and you are the shift.
If you have come this far, it is crucial that you watch this next video here. But be warned, it is not for the faint of heart, for only the true chosen ones can handle this video. If you would like to also donate to help keep the channel going, our Buy Me a Coffee link will be in the description.